sudden the lead bumps back up. But we just got to continue to play together. And I think we've touched some things that we need to continue to do and just do it for longer.
They won, we lost. We got to be better. I can be better. I didn't shoot the ball really well. I didn't have some turnovers where I was just driving and left my hands, but I'm going to be better at home.
Welcome back, Hawks fans. It's your Atlanta Hawks wrap-up playoff edition. And I know we're coming into this show. Hawks are down 0-2 to the Boston Celtics in the first round. Lost tonight, 119-106. I know a lot of people are emotional right now. I know a lot of people were just ready to blow this team up. A lot of people are ready for the season to end. There's just a lot of people saying all types of things tonight after what we saw tonight. A lot of the issues that plagued this team last year, even during the Eastern Conference Finals run, has peaked its head during this series. Boston just looks like the more far superior team. And I know it's frustrating, especially with Trae Young not playing his best basketball. DeAndre Hunter, he actually was 18-12 tonight, but I know a lot of people just still feel like he didn't impact the game as much as he could have. And obviously the front line didn't really give us anything tonight either. And I know that's all frustrating all around for everybody. And this is just a time for me to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about it. And I have to remind you guys of some things during this series as the Hawks go back home to Atlanta for Game 3, trying to make this a series. First thing I need to declare is remember something. When Quinn Snyder took over this team, I think in a way, even though they didn't say it, this was the expectation. All the habits that this team had built, all the issues, all the struggles, that wasn't just going to go away just because he was hired. You know, that just wasn't going to happen. The only thing he could try to do is try to do the best he can with what he has, try to hopefully develop good habits, and also hopefully, you know, get guys to play better, play with more confidence, encourage guys, give guys the green light, etc. And I think, you know, with that, I think he's been trying. And I think that's why every game he's like, we competing. You know, he's made multiple comments during the season about the way the team plays and says, I think we played well today, but we played well for a stretch, and we got to do that longer. We got to keep playing like that longer. We play like that for a few minutes, and then we go back to what is actually worse for us, and that's why you see the play. Listen, I know Trae Young has not been great these last two playoffs so far. I know that he hasn't put up the greatest numbers in the world. I know that he's made careless mistakes and careless turnovers. I know he's taken ill-advised shots. I understand all of that. But at the same time, I also have to say this too. Much as y'all don't want to hear it, Trae's still learning. He's 24. He doesn't have all the answers. What 24-year-old player has all the answers? There's not a lot in this game, unless you're just so much more supremely talented, like a LeBron James or somebody. I know we don't want to hear it because he's the star of the team and he's the face of the franchise, but that's the truth. He don't have all the answers. I know people are ready to quit on him, say he's just not going to be able to do good enough during his era. I'm seeing people say just trade everybody. Snyder didn't come here to rebuild. So whoever is saying that, y'all just have to kill that right now. He didn't come here to rebuild and be 20 and like 62 next year. He came here to make this team competitive and potentially move forward in terms of maybe trying to make a playoff push in the future. Realistically, I don't think they thought this year would be the year they'd make a push. Realistically. If it happened, fantastic. But I don't think it was one of those years where you're like expecting to make a run. You just want to see progression, especially in his situation, just how guys adapt. He's evaluating these guys game after game to see, listen, he has power in terms of personnel. This offseason, he can decide who goes and who stays. He can decide who he wants on his team to make sure the team fits the image he wants. Remember, they just hired Mike Brey, former Notre Dame head coach, yesterday to his coaching staff. He's already starting to build his own coaching staff. Remember, the coaching staff right now is not the coaching staff he'll have next year. And I've said this, Snyder wants to bring in guys with experience, knowledge, teaching ability, and accountability. That's what he probably wants from his coaching staff. The way Snyder wants this team to look like is not how this team is right now. He said in his pregame press conference today, he said pretty much his how I want the team to be offensively. If you got the shot, take it. If you don't, pass it. Or I think he said shoot it, pass it. What was the third thing? He said shoot it, pass it, or something else. Or drive. He said shoot it, pass it, or drive. If you have a lane, drive. If you have a pass, take it. If you have a shot, take it. The Hawks, you can see ball movement is not crisp here. I was watching, and I said this on Twitter, I was watching the Kings game, and I said, this is what I think Snyder wants this team to look like. Golden State is a great switching team. They will rotate a lot defensively. And to be able to beat that, you have to keep passing the ball offensively. And I think sometimes with the Hawks is that when Boston collapses and kind of locks on everybody, they kind of just feel like now we have to beat someone one-on-one instead of can we still move the ball to get a better shot, to get a quality possession. The issue with the Hawks is they don't get a lot of quality possessions. A lot of possessions, I can tell, it just seems difficult. It seems like they're just working much harder than Boston, where Boston's able to get into the paint at will, scoring over 60 points in the paint tonight. You do realize in this game, the Hawks took over 100 field goals today and made 43. Boston took 86 and made 48. They took 15 more shots than Boston, but made 5 less. The Hawks are not a great shot-making team. Boston is. I said, you play them, you're going to have hands in their faces, and they're going to knock down shots. They're a great shot-making team. The Hawks are not. They're not a great, they don't have a lot of shot makers. Our top 4 shot makers are Trae, DJ, Bogey, and Bay. AJ probably too, but he hasn't played a lot, or he's probably not gonna play in this series. Outside of that, we don't really have a lot of shot makers. They pretty much need to get really good looks or open shots for those guys to be effective, like Capella and JC. And I think, like I said, I get the frustration. I understand. But at the same time, we are the 7th seed. Are we really supposed to be that much better than this team? We're not. We're expected to get blown out for a reason. The true vision of this team and what Snyder wants this team to be will not occur till next year. What we're seeing now is who works within his vision and who doesn't. That's why sometimes I have to remind you guys, don't view this as like, this is how we're going to look every year. I mean, listen, I have no clue. We may get his coaches in here, get his players in here, and we're still butt next year. I don't know. That's always a possibility. There's never a full 100% proof plan in this business, in this league. You can hope for something and still nothing changes. But the thing you have to do every year as a fan or someone who watches the game is just always believe that if this goes the way they want it to go, then this improvement will be made. And so tonight was just a representation of that. I think the Hawks did some things better today, but clearly still couldn't do enough. And sometimes, like I said, people know Boston is the more talented team. We get that. But there are still things that the Hawks can do that they can play better. Like at times, effort is always not the best to me. I feel like we're not playing with enough effort. I have always said we did this in East Conference Finals too. We will play discombobulated and just like we'll just have this terrible run of just can't make a shot and can't defend to save our lives. It's almost like we can't do anything right for about 3 minutes. And then the other team either makes a run off that or takes the lead, and now we're having to fight back. These are things that are not going to be corrected in 20 to 25 games, which Quinn Snyder has been given with this team in this current version of the Hawks. It's just not going to happen. You've had maybe a handful, maybe 10, 12 practices over these last month and a half, 2 months almost. You've had about 10 to 12 practices. What are we honestly expecting to change in that time? There have been things clearly, like offensively, in the regular season, they were one of the best offensive teams in the league. Against Boston is completely shutting down everything they want to do offensively. And so the offense is just such in disarray, it feels like a lot. And defensively has always been an issue. And it showed itself again here against Boston. I think changes are coming. And I think we'll see what this team looks like in the future. But for now, we have to just look at everything and just kind of see how things are going. They go home to Atlanta Friday. If they win, we have a 2-1 series and we'll at least have a 5th game. If not, Hawks are going to be fighting to not get swept. I mean, that's just as simple as I can put it to you. Their biggest issues is that their point of attack defense is still terrible and they can't control ball handlers because ball handlers get into the paint on them at will. These are things that clearly need to be addressed. These are things that clearly need to change. And I'm sure the front office and I'm sure Quinn knows that. And they're going to try to make those adjustments to change and fix those problems. I would expect them to. There's no way you're going to come out of the season and think we can keep 95% of this roster. I would think there's at least, I would say 20 to 25% turnover at least. Could be 50 for all we know. But I'll say at least a quarter of this roster will be turned over next year. We just don't know who, what, and where, and who we're getting back. So, and I know, like I said, I know everybody's frustrated with Trae, but all we could do is just keep believing in him. I think Quinn is going to work with Trae. He's going to help Trae. I think this is the first coach that I think Trae has bought into since he's been in Atlanta. And so, obviously, again, everything he's done, he's just not going to change in like 2 games. It's going to take time. You're going to need patience. You're going to have to go through the growing pains. You know, and I think this year for Trae has been extremely weird in the way his play has fluctuated. Hopefully that won't be the case next year. Quinn has to sell Trae on, if you move the ball, you can still get 25. You were used to getting 25 from ISOing guys and basically just putting the team on your back. But what if I told you can get 25 by still moving the ball? And now you're getting higher quality shots and maybe easier lanes to the basket. That's what he's trying to sell Trae on, I think, over this year and the next offseason. So let's just calm down. I understand you're frustrated. We don't Hawks, frustrating game tonight. Down 0-2. Trae hasn't played well. Guys, DeAndre's been up and down. John Collins didn't play well. Like, I get it. Everything is valid. But let's just remember what this season actually is and what could be coming on the horizon. This isn't this team has peaked and this is it and there's nothing else they can do. Trust me, changes are going to occur. You just have to be patient. But I know that's hard. I know that's hard for a lot of people to be patient. So we're just going to have to see what happens. Hawks got to get ready to go game 3. They got to make adjustments. Bay got to play better. Frontline has to play better. Trae has to play better. Simple as that. And we'll see if they'll come out and play like a desperate team, because they have to be desperate on Friday. We'll see if Quinn gets these guys ready to go against them Celtics on Friday. We're going to have to see all this. So we're going to have to see, man. But this is your Atlanta Hawks wrap up. I'll see you next time.